Thank you for joining us for how to sell a listing that isn't selling. My name is Randy Cochrane. I'm the Director of National Growth and Development with Equity Real Estate. Equity Real Estate is an independent real estate company. We're currently located in 28 states across the country, and we're growing nationwide. And we do a webinar a couple times a month to help agents in the industry grow and elevate their business and really address some of the most pressing issues and challenges that we're seeing in the industry. And as our title says today, how to sell a listing that isn't selling. It's interesting what's happening right now in real estate, and we haven't seen this for a long time, is listing inventory in certain markets is continuing to grow, yet in other markets, there's still a shortage of inventory. So for those markets where the listing inventory is growing, we're going to address that today. And when a property sits on the market without any offers, it can be frustrating for both the seller and the agent. And the good news is there are proven strategies to revive a stale listing. And as we all know, as agents in the industry, if a property is priced right, regardless of the market that it is in, if it is priced right, it should be pending or have offers within 72 hours. If a property hits the market and it does not have any activity in the first 72 hours, the market, not us, the market tells us that we are not priced correctly. And of course, price is always based on condition of a property. And we're going to address some of those issues today that we see when it comes to these listings that are stigmatized or sitting on the market. If you have a property that's been listed and it is not selling, a slow-moving listing often needs more than just time. It needs a reset on how it's being presented to the market. It could be the way the property looks, it could be the way the property feels, and functions can shape the buyer's perception within seconds of seeing the listing. And so it's not just the property itself. Sometimes it's the photos, sometimes it's the videos, sometimes it's the staging, sometimes it's the direction the property faces in a market area. For example, where our market is in Salt Lake City, Utah, if we have a property where the back of the home is west facing or the front of the home is west facing, it gets that sun in the afternoon, and a lot of times the buyers just don't even want to look at those properties just because of the direction of the sun. And those are issues that are outstanding that we can't fix. Now, the first thing that we can do is fix outstanding issues. So we can address inspection problems early, small issues that can deter buyers. One of the things that we can always do with our listings is get a home inspection done right up front, so our sellers know all of the things that they should be addressing to get the home. So we were talking about revitalizing the property and boosting the curb appeal through landscaping in the exterior to make a strong first impression. And a lot of that just goes back to especially the initial photos or the video tour that's being posted on the property. And then number 4 is updating the interior presentation, refreshing paint, lighting, and flooring for that move-in ready feel. We always want to remember that when a buyer buys a property, typically what they want, of course, is they want to be able to come move in, put down their couch, put the TV on the wall, order pizza, sit down, and enjoy their new home. Let's talk about a pricing reassessment. With a pricing reassessment, if the home isn't selling, the price is often the biggest factor. And of course, for a lot of you that are seasoned agents, you're already looking at the web meeting going, yeah, Randy, I know all this stuff. But sometimes we have brand new agents that are watching our webinars, or they haven't even received their real estate license yet. And so we just want to let them know what they need to be prepared for. So if a home isn't selling, the price is often the biggest factor. Start by reviewing and updating comparables, homes that are similar in size, condition, location that have sold recently. Also, are they selling faster, and did they close at a lower price? And days on market and pricing is so important, because if a property hits the market and goes pending quickly, oftentimes we're assuming it was priced right, but we really didn't know the motivation of the seller. and maybe they did receive a low offer, they accepted it anyway. And so we always want to go back and not only look at our current competition in the market, what's currently listed and what it's listed for in days on market, but we want to look at the pending sales and their pricing and how long they were on market before they went pending. And then we want to look at the properties that have sold and how long it took to sell them and what those selling prices were. And if we're considering a psychological pricing strategy, a listing price at $499 feels more approachable than 500, and the actual difference is pretty small. And we don't always need to be drastic, but they still should be strategic. And that's why we see a lot of agents list properties at 499.9 versus 500,000. Also, when home buyers are searching for properties and they're using automated systems like Realtor.com or your state website or even your website that you're providing them, oftentimes they're just not rounding up, they're rounding down. And so definitely be really strategic in your pricing. Also, you need to strengthen your marketing strategy. Once your property's priced right and visually appealing, the next area to tackle is marketing. Modern buyers are online and your marketing should meet them there. There's a checklist on the screen to ensure your marketing is comprehensive and competitive. First of all, combining visual upgrades, digital strategy, and refreshed listing content creates a unified marketing push that can re-energize interest in the property. And one thing that we always suggest that you do is if you have a property on market and you're not getting any activity, go into your listing every single Friday if your MLS allows you to do this, and simply change one thing in the listing that may trigger it to go back out on the automatic hot sheets or emails. That could be the price by $100. It could be the number of parking spaces in the driveway, or it could be something as simple as an amenity. So consider redoing that every single Friday. Hire a professional photographer for new listing photos. Also, you can add drone footage to show land or location, and then film a short video tour or reel for social media. And one thing that we strongly suggest, if you've watched our how to put your open house basically on steroids video webinar that we did, you should, if you're doing an open house, always do a video open house and post it on social media as well. Use that virtual staging for your vacant spaces, and then update your MLS description with emotional words like welcoming retreat or perfect for entertaining. And of course, the ability now to use Chat GPT to really write our descriptions without puffing the listing remarks has been very, very beneficial. So make sure that you're considering using AI to help you with your remarks. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a 14-day strategy for a stalled listing. And this is step by step what you can do every day for the next 14 days to get a listing to sell. And for a lot of you, you may have more than one listing, and you might have one listing that's sitting on the market. We had an agent that I was talking with in Florida, and when we were talking with them about their business, they currently have 30 listings. And when I was talking with them about their listing inventory, I asked this individual how many listings they normally have in inventory. And she said, I normally have between 7 and 8 listings, pretty common for me to carry that type of listing inventory. But usually when I have 7 to 8 listings, 4 of those are pending at any given time. And when I said, okay, so usually 50% of your listings are pending, and she said yes. And I said, okay, you have 30 listings right now. Out of the 30 listings that you have, how many of those are currently pending? And she said none. She said, I don't have one pending listing and I have 30 listings. And she said, honestly, my listing marketing is about to put me out of business. What should I do? And I simply said this. I said, pick the one listing out of 30 that you believe or think has the highest chance of selling first. And we are going to go through each one of your listings one by one based on your gut feeling on which listing will sell the fastest. That's the listing that you need to focus on, because right now you need to sell your way out of the situation that you're in. You can't rely on the market. We have to be aggressive. We have to do something that nobody else is doing to get these listings sold. And so we developed this marketing plan. First is prep and plan. You're going to review the comps, define the goal, and identify the audience. And we're going to talk more about an audience here when we get to the creative slide. Also, you're going to clean, stage, and photograph the home and update and refresh it if you haven't done that. I look at listings in my market all the time where we are heading into spring and it's currently May, and the property was listed in January or February or March, and the photo tour online still has snow in the front yard. It doesn't even make sense. So make sure that those are refreshed. Day 3 and 4 is you're going to launch an online MLS listing and write a new description and optimize that every way possible. You're going to post on social media with strong visuals and hashtags, and you're also going to include video. Day 5 through 6 is you're going to email and you're going to do an open house. You're going to send email blasts to buyers. You're going to send them to agents. And then you're going to promote and prep the open house, and you're going to hold it open. And here in a few minutes, when we get to the Be Creative slide, I'm going to talk more about opens. Day 7 and 8 is ads and networking. You're going to launch a paid ad campaign on social media, on Facebook. You can also use nextdoor.com. If you're not using nextdoor.com for your real estate business, you need to be. And you can also do those Google paid ads as well as set up Google for your business. And then you're going to personally reach out to brokers and agents that have recently either listed a property in the neighborhood or sold a property in the neighborhood. And the reason why is if somebody recently sold a property in the neighborhood, they've been talking with other buyers. They could also potentially get a referral from their buyer that just bought the property that's doing a home warming party or for their new purchase. Also, if a listing agent has listed a property and they'd had activities by other buyers, but they weren't interested in their listing, reach out to them and just say, hey, I know you listed your property a week or two ago. Do you have any buyers that talk to you about your property that weren't interested that might be interested in mine? Day 9 through 10, you're going to do content and showing. You're going to share a blog or a reel or your video tour. You're going to host the open house and you're going to collect feedback. The open house feedback that you're going to be getting is not just from the potential buyer walking through the property. Hand them the open house feedback form when they walk through with a clipboard and ask for their remarks. We have a phenomenal open house feedback form available. If you don't have one, just reach out. We'll send it to you. Also, you're going to be getting feedback from the buyers' agents that are walking the buyers through the property and getting their feedback as well. And remember, most agents, they don't pull any punches. They are brutally honest when they walk through our properties. Day 11 through 12, you're going to follow up and adjust. You're going to contact all the leads and you're going to address any questions that the buyers had based on their feedback form and comments. You're also going to review your campaign performance and refine it. And then day 13 through 14 is you're going to promote and push. You're going to add incentives or adjust the pricing, and then you're going to make a final marketing push across all panels. And after the 14 days, if you do not have an offer on the property, you are going to repeat the 14-day marketing strategy over and over again until that property receives an offer or sells. We're just going to rinse and repeat. We have to be super aggressive. Now, when the buyers come through the properties, we need to understand their feedback and what the buyer objection about the property is. Feedback is one of the most valuable tools in real estate. And understanding those objections allows you to create solutions or strategic messaging that speaks directly to the buyer's concerns. It's not just about showing the home, it's about showing buyers how the home can meet their needs. We recently had a property owner put their property on the market. It was getting a lot of activity, but the feedback that we received, because it was a 4-bedroom, 1-bath property, was that if the property had another bathroom, even if it was what we consider a 3/4 bath, which is a sink, a toilet, and a shower, even if the property had that, it would sell. And so what the property owner did, based on the agent's suggestion, is they hired a contractor. They removed the property from the MLS. A contractor came in and within 2 weeks had installed a new bathroom. There was a 3/4 bath. They went right back on the market. They actually increased the price, the amount that it cost to install the bathroom, and sold the property within a week because the new buyer coming in the property could not visualize themselves doing that bathroom. We also want to leverage buyer incentives. In a competitive or slow moving market, creative incentives can revive interest in a listing and motivate hesitant buyers. Clearly, advertising incentives such as a home warranty or solar paid closing costs in marketing materials or on the sign or in the open house. When this is used strategically, incentives can close the gap between buyer hesitation and seller goals. Right now, we're seeing a massive push by a lot of the home builders in certain markets because they've overbuilt. Our office in Arizona, we recently had one of our agents negotiate a new purchase on new construction for their home buyer, and that home buyer received $60,000 in concessions from the home builder just to get the home sold. A lot of the home builders right now are putting mother-in-laws in the basements, they're finishing basements, they're adding incredible decking on the properties. And so everything, remember, is negotiable in real estate. The next thing that we need to consider as agents is when we need to have that conversation about with our seller about withdrawing the listing and relisting. And even the best marketing and staging can't always help a stale listing. And so a withdrawal sometimes gives you time to reassess. Use that break to improve the curb appeal, repaint interior rooms, update the MLS description, or capture those new listing photos. It's also a good opportunity to restructure your marketing. And this is why a lot of times properties go on the market, they don't sell, they expire, and then 2 or 3 weeks later they come on the market with a new agent. And sometimes it's just that tweak in the remarks and the photos and that new face that revitalizes that listing, and all of a sudden it sells that fast. When you're relaunching with a strong campaign, consider your targeted ads, email blast to agents, social media posts, and headlines like "back on market with a new look." Now, in my opinion, here's the most important part of our webinar today, and that's to be creative and do what other agents are not willing to do. Right now in real estate, a huge majority of the real estate agents have been in the business for less than 10 years. They've been in an action-based market, which meant that if a real estate agent took just a little bit of action, they listed a property, they went out and they stood on the real estate railroad tracks, the real estate train would hit them and they would make money. We are no longer in that market. We are now in a skills-based market. Myself, I've been in real estate as an agent since December of 2000. And I've been through lots of different markets. And every time we go into a different market, we have to adjust. And this is a market that is similar to a little bit of a market that we were in 2010, 11, 12, and 13. And for agents that hadn't been through that market, they don't know how to react and what to do. And right now, we not only have to be professional, but we have to take massive action. An agent now needs skills. They need pricing skills, they need marketing skills, and they need negotiation skills like they've never had it before. And here's a list of all of the creative things that you can do to get a listing sold. And you'll want to write these down, and they are in no particular order. The first thing that you're going to want to do is, if you have a property that is in an HOA, 53% of all properties in America right now are inside HOAs. There's over 370,000, 75,000 HOAs across the country. And there's a new HOA created every day. In fact, on average, it's 11 of them. And homes inside HOAs typically sell faster, and they also sell for as much as 5% more as homes in non-HOAs. And so if you have a property that you've listed inside an HOA, make sure you're highlighting the appealing HOA amenities. Also, you want to do a very, very aggressive door knocking campaign around your listings. You want to knock all the doors, at least 100 around your listing, within the first 72 hours of listing the property. And then you want to knock the property area again 3 days before the open house and let the neighbors know that you're holding it open, and you want to host a pick your neighbor campaign. You want to invite all the neighbors over to preview the property because they're nosy. They want to get in it. They want to know what it looks like, and invite them to come bring their friends and family or anybody else they'd like to have as a neighbor. The second thing that you want to do is, if you have a property on the market and it's not selling, and if you're not out on a listing appointment, you're not out working with a buyer, you're not negotiating a contract, or you're not at a closing, you want to be sitting that open house open every single day and prospecting from that open house until it sells. And believe me, I had to do this in 2011, where we had a property that we actually owned, that was a property that we had fixed up and we were reselling, and the market wasn't moving and we were chasing the price down. And we literally sat that property open every single day until it sold. The ironic thing about that is we picked up more buyers than we ever had before from that one listing. Also, another thing that you can do is increase the buyer agent compensation on your website, on the sign the rider, or communicate that with the buyer's agents when they are working with their buyers. Hopefully the buyer agent has done a good job of presenting to their buyer and letting them know what their compensation is going to be, because it's negotiable. And the ironic thing about compensation for a buyer's agent right now, a National Association of Realtors has just launched their statistics. I watched the chief economist for NAR present at a broker event here not too long ago in Kentucky, and the study has actually shown the buyer agent compensation since the changes last August are actually increasing, not decreasing. And the reason why is it's now become more negotiable, and it's actually a topic that is happening up front, oftentimes before a property is shown. Also, your seller can offer to buy down the interest rate or pay the closing costs. A lot of mortgage lenders are doing that as well. I have a mortgage lender right now that their incentive program is through the end of June, they are doing a 1% buy down for all buyers at no cost if the buyer is willing to use that mortgage company. Also, your seller can offer owner financing, a lease option, or a contract for deed on the property. An appraisal is oftentimes not required. They can get a lot of their equity upfront from a buyer and carry that financing for a period of time. And so right now, if you're not familiar with seller financing, lease options, and contract for deed transactions, definitely be educating yourself on that topic. Watch for an upcoming webinar that we're going to be hosting on that here shortly in the next month. Also, as I mentioned before, reach out to co-op agents that have recently sold in a property in the area and see if they have other buyers looking. Also, check to see what other lending options are out there. Is there VA? Is there USDA? Is there the Good Neighbor program for fire, police, teacher, and first responders? Also, is there grant program and incentives from the city or the county? In Mesa, Arizona, where our office is located there, Mesa has, and the Gilbert area, has a fantastic home buyer incentive program that they're promoting right now, where those buyers can get some extra funds to purchase their property. Also, every single Friday, make sure that you're doing a new CMA on the property and that you're having a conversation with the seller about improving the price or making changes that will cause the property to sell or go under contract within the next 30 days. And then you're going to, again, review all those open house feedback forms, and you're going to have that conversation with the seller as well. And oftentimes it needs to be a very direct conversation. We had a seller once where you walk in their front door and the wall in the entryway was a bright pink color, and all the feedback was, we don't like that. So we had to repaint it. Also, make sure that you're putting your property on the bus tour or the real estate tour and you're getting feedback from agents in the market. And also make sure that you're going out yourself and previewing all the other listings in the market that are a competitive listing to yours so that you see what the competition is. Because if buyers are walking through your property and they are not making offers, they are making offers, but it's on something else, and we have to figure out why. And then also, if there is a company relocating into your area that you know of. So for example, in Arizona, we have a big chip plant coming there, computer chip plant. Go into that company on social media, find their message boards on LinkedIn, Facebook, and post your properties on company message boards. Right now, one of our teams in Houston, Texas, has 10 executives from Texas relocating to Texas from Tesla. And so they have 10 buyer transactions coming to that Houston market. And they're marketing a lot of those properties in that area directly to the relocation and those buyers coming in. Also, if it's a unique property, marketed to specific groups. And let's say that it's an equestrian property, it's pickleball, it's tennis, it has an additional dwelling unit, so you can reach out to people that have Airbnbs and VRBOs or properties. Go to furnishfinder.com, put in the zip code, find the property owner that already owns another furnished property in that area, call them on the phone and say, hey, I've got another one. Are you interested? Also, if it's on a golf course or a country club, go post the property on the message boards at the golf course. And when the golfers are coming into the clubhouse, or even go put flyers out around in the community around the golf course or the country club. And then also network with real estate brokers. Find out who their buyers are, find out who they're working with, and find out who the agent is that's working with them. And then contact that agent, say, hey, I just got your name from Nathan. And Nathan said that, your buyer's out looking and they're qualified. And I've got this listing and I think it would be a good fit for them. Can we show it to them? And then also, you're going to make sure that you're going to your real estate investment clubs, going to your BNI groups, going to your Chamber of Commerce meetings. And if anybody ever gives you the opportunity to stand up and introduce yourself, stand up, introduce yourself, but always after you introduce yourself, lead with a property. Here's who I am, who's here I work with, and oh, by the way, I have this amazing property located we just improved the price by this, and that could be a great property for somebody to own or occupy, or if it's a great property for an investment, share that information as well. And then call the HOA presidents. We have a phenomenal relationship with HOA.com. And our webinar next week, we're going to be talking more about that. But call the HOA presidents and ask them what agents have been reaching out to them and requesting HOA information for their buyers. And then if that buyer isn't buying there, I know those HOAs, they want the revenue, they want the income, they want the community, they want unity in community. And so those HOA presidents ask who the best agents are that they work with all the time, and call those agents and say, hey, I noticed that you sell a lot of properties over here in Crestwood, and you represent a lot of buyers. I have this listing that would be perfect for your buyers. And then this is key. And this is something that we did for a long, long time, for about 2 years in the market when the market stalled and we had lots of listings and they weren't selling. And that is this. And some of you may have heard this before, some of you may not. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to write a reverse offer to the buyer. And if you have a listing that's not selling and your seller is motivated, the buyer's been through the property, and they have not written an offer, have your seller write an offer and send it over to the buyer's agent. Call the buyer's agent up on the phone and say, I know that your buyer walked through our property. We did receive some good feedback. We've not received an offer. My seller wants the property sold. I just emailed you an offer to purchase for you to present to your buyer. Please present that to your buyer. And if it's acceptable, send it back. If it's not, write us a counter offer. And sometimes buyers just can't make a decision. I'll never forget, I was out showing homes with this amazing couple. We'd probably looked at 15 properties and we'd come out to the car after we'd looked at the properties and I'd say to them, what did you think about the property? And they would say, I don't know. What do you think? And she would say, I don't know. What do you think? And they just could not make a decision. And so sometimes we need to help people decide and just say, let's just make an offer and see what happens. And then at the end of the day, be consistent, be persistent, and provide your client with unreasonable hospitality. Do whatever it takes to get the property sold. And when you do that, you'll not only become more referable, you'll get better reviews from your clients, and it gives you the opportunity to send out those just listed and just sold cards in the neighborhood. And remember, sending a just listed card is one of the most powerful things that you can do because it lets the neighbors know, but sending that just sold card is even more powerful. For some of you, you may or may not be familiar with equity real estate. As I mentioned, we are a independent real estate company. We are a set fee company. And what we've shared with you today is how to turn around a slow moving listing with a strategy and a skill that can work. Now imagine keeping more of your income from that sale. At Equity Real Estate, our set fee model helps high performing agents maximize their earnings. If you're maximizing your earnings, what that means is you're not only making more money, but you have more marketing dollars available to put towards getting your listing sold. I always tell my clients, when we list your home, I'm becoming your partner. I'm investing my time and I'm investing my money up front to sell your home. And the only way that I'm going to get my money back is if your home sells. And so we are partners in this transaction. Because we have a set transaction fee and no commission split, you get to keep more of that hard-earned income that you receive. You'll still get full access to tools, training, and marketing support. We have a full marketing center for all of our agents for regular listings and luxury listings. You have the freedom to run your business your way, and you're not at the mercy of your broker telling you maybe what you can and cannot charge. Also, you get strong broker support without micromanagement from our brokers and our company. Equity real estate is ideal for agents who know how to close and just want to keep more of the results. Our final thoughts today is at Equity Real Estate, we believe that no agent should have to figure it out alone. That's why we provide our agents with tools, training, and collaborative support to help listings succeed, especially when they stall. I know today we had a few technical difficulties at the beginning of the web meeting, and I apologize for that, but we appreciate everybody sticking with us today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. My name is Randy Cochrane. If you want to scan the QR code on the screen, you can schedule a 15-minute phone call with me, a 30-minute or a 1-hour web meeting. It does not matter if you're an agent with our company or not. If you have a listing that is not selling, schedule a call with me and I will talk with you. We'll jump online and we will strategize and figure out how to get that listing sold. Also, for every person that registered today, you're going to be getting an ebook that is going to be emailed out to you that you can follow and use as a guide to get your listing sold. But in addition to that, this webinar replay will be available on our YouTube channel here shortly, and you'll also get a link to that replay as well. And as always, at Equity Real Estate, we just want to help level up the professionalism in the industry, help real estate agents grow their business, and have an impact on their lives. So if there's ever anything that we can do for you, do not hesitate to call, do not hesitate to reach out. And at some point, even if you're happy with your current real estate company that you're with, if that ever changes, we would love to be your destination of choice. In the email that we're going to send out, we'll also send out that open house feedback form. So watch for that as well. Thanks again for joining us today. Everybody's been amazing, and I look forward to seeing all your success in your business. And as always, everybody